to Strange Attitude Garage 2-post hoist edition. We bought a hydraulic lift for our shop. It's capable of lifting 7,000 pounds up to 72 inches, so that's 6 feet. What we have is a chain over the hydraulic ram design. There's no cables involved. What's unique about this one is that it is removable. Take a look as I move this arm away. We've got 6 5/8 inch epoxy anchors in the floor, which we poured especially for this. Jack and I and one of my buddies did 4x4 cutout of our existing floor, and then we dug under the existing floor another 6 inches all the way around, making the entire footing 5x5. It's 10 to 12 inches deep, 4,000 psi concrete. We also have rebar going through everywhere except right where I drilled the holes for the anchors. And they're all marked accordingly. So what I can do is lift the cars and do my jobs, and then I can just unbolt these bolts and take this and just slide it over here. Additionally, for more storage, I've got these arms come off. So I can take the arms and put them on these hangers, which I put together. Yeah, no problem. I'll have 4 of those. It's not complete yet, but pretty simple. One of the tricks with installing this is that you make sure you grease the channels really well while you're bleeding the system from air, because if you don't grease them, the slides will jump around a little bit, and that's not perfect. But after greasing it, they don't slide. So it's very easily goes right back in place. Okay. You see this pad came off. This is just a standard pad. You can use this as a truck adapter for trucks that you might have to reach up a little higher on the frames. These come with the lift. For our Volkswagen, I'm just going to put in one, just to make it a little bit easier on us. You'll also see that these extend all the way out, and then they have locks right here so that they don't come all the way out. We don't want that. Okay, you'll also see these little teeth lock with these, but they don't engage until you lift the lift off the ground, and then that will slide down and the teeth will mesh together. I've got something rigged up right now which I won't use, but I just wanted to demonstrate what I want to do. You have a hydraulic line that goes over to the pump. This hydraulic line is long enough to go all the way around the front of the truck, but I don't want to do that all the time, so I'm going to create a bridge with some 2x4s, and I'm going to strap them together so that it doesn't buckle, but then I'll just run the hose right through there. That'll be nice and easy. But for this demonstration, I'm going to just slide out the hose. Over here. I would love it if the hoses were another 5 feet long, but with my idea, it'll work just fine. Sweating. Pick these up. Other things that you need when you get a hoist is to make sure that the car is perfectly balanced. And one way of assisting that is to get these kind of jack stands. They're upside down, but they go this high. So what you do is you put the car on the lift, you do it as level, as balanced as possible, but then for super safety, you put 1 or 2 on each end to stop the car from wobbling. The reason it might wobble is because you might be taking off transmission, or you might take out the exhaust and throw the center of balance of the car off in the process of doing your job. Or something real simple, you might just start really pulling hard on it because you're removing suspension or something like that, and you have to pull on it really hard. So I'm just making sure I put the same adapters in all the way around here so that the car is even when I lift it. So again, we did the same thing here on this slab. So you got the system comes with the 2 columns, the 4 arms, and the pump, which pumps hydraulic fluid to the rams and lifts the cars up. Now what I'll do is pull in my Volkswagen Passat. We're going to pull it into the center of the garage, do it as centered as possible, and we'll lift it, and I'll show you how it's done. Okay, one other thing I forgot to mention is the power supply. It runs on 110, but it's 30 amps. Now people say you can get away with 20 amps, but I'm doing so much work already, why try to skimp just because you don't want to put in a breaker. So while I was installing the power for my compressor, which takes 220, I ran another line using this RV cord, 30 amps, 110. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is pull in my car centered in between the posts. Okay, so now that we've got the car centered, the trick is to make sure that you get the center of balance too. The motor's in the front. It's obviously heavier than the rest of the car, but we do have a lot of car back here. You got the transmission, you got the rear end and the suspension and a lot of stuff. So there's a book called the American Lift Institute's Vehicle Lifting Point Guide, which I've ordered and it'll be here tomorrow, that tells you the exact dead centers of cars from 1991 to today, all the cars. But we're going to take an educated guess. The rule is to get it just about behind the A pillar in the middle here. We will do it. I've done this a few times and it's worked out well. So now what you do is you swing the arm underneath the car and you find the pinch weld. The pinch weld is where the manufacturer builds a thicker weld right along the rocker panel where you normally put your car lift for jacking up your car in the when you're on the side of the road. You put these things in the same spot. Some places make plastic pucks. They're just like hockey pucks that have a groove in them that you can use too. I'm going to make some of those later, but this works just fine. This is what all the mechanics use. So now I'm going to go under here and center it right over the top of the pinch welds. There we go. Okay, I closed the door because the garage door is lower than the ceiling and I want to lift the car up higher. It's very important that you lift the car just a couple inches just to get the tires off the ground, and then do a walk around and make sure your pads are all touching the spots that you want them to touch. Make sure that your locks are engaging, and make sure that your car is not off balance. What I'll do is go to the trunk and give it just a little push to see if it rocks around too much. If it rocks around, stop, bring it back down, try to center it again. Takes a little bit of trial and error. Luckily I've only got 3 cars. Once I figure out where they got to go, it'll be very simple. I'm going to mark some spots on the floor to do so. Okay, now we're going to give it a lift. First thing I'm going to do is just bring it off the ground a little bit, do a run around, make sure everything's centered. Hear that lock? Click! Those are the safety locks that there's a tooth that goes up and snaps into place and stops the car from falling down. And you'll hear that they're both exactly at the same time which is good because that means the lift is in sequence and their lift is coming up at the same size, but you also have to pay very close attention to make sure that they both click at the same time so you know they're both locked. So what I'm doing now, I've lifted it up a couple inches. Now I'm going to drop it back down onto the lock by pushing this. There. Now it's locked. And I'm going to go over here to the trunk and give it a little push and see how it performs. It's solid. Now it's gonna wiggle a little. It just is, but it's not clunking. Now I'll continue to go up. See there, it clicked a little bit out of sequence, but it'll correct itself later. It can be just about an inch off of center. That's within spec. That's as high as I can go until my brother comes over and helps me put a pocket in the ceiling so that I can lift it all the way up. But that'll come another day. So now I've got it as high as I want to go. I could go another foot higher. I just have to move that light, but this is for demonstration purposes. So now I've got it up. I've heard it click. I'm going to back it down onto its blocks very gently. There it is. Now it's locked. Now the car is safe to go under. But before I do that, I'm going to do another safety check because I'm an amateur. Perfect. 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 So now we're under the car. So look at that. Much better to work under this. Now I can certainly go higher, and I will, once I move that light. Then I can get under here with a chair. I could actually get it high enough that I could stand under it. I'm very happy with what this thing can do for me. And I think that's about it for lifting it. Now I can show you how to bring it back down. Okay, now that we've got the car up and we've done our stuff, I did a tire rotation the other day, a wheel rotation. It took no time. It was so awesome. It was fun. Okay, but what we want to do to bring it back down, we have to do a couple things. Very simple, but very important. There's an orange string here. It's a cable. This is attached to the lock. So, what we want to do is lift the car just a little bit. Okay, now it's lifted. Now we want to pull on this. Click. That means this is unlocked. Now don't walk under the car to unlock the other side. Let's go to the other side, around the car. Pull. Right now, only the hydraulic fluid is holding the car up. The safety locks are now disengaged. But now that they're both released, you can come over here and very slowly, no need to be in a hurry, just slowly push this down and bring the hydraulic fluid that's in the rams back into the reservoir. Slowly. Now it's full again. one other thing you should do, I guess, make sure that there's nothing else under the car before you take it down. But that should go without saying. Now, we pull our arms back in and swing them back. And the job is done. Now, if we wanted to put the posts away, tuck it away for the weekend or whatever, you will go over here to the pump, use these quick connects, pop off both the hydraulic lines, take one line, hang it up on the hook, take the other line, hang it up on the other hook. You can take your arms off, hang them on the rack, then you unbolt one or both of the posts, spin the bolts back in, or use 5/8 inch set screws so that stuff doesn't fall into the holes, and put it over in the corner as well. It's all buried and hidden, and you still have the power of a full shop here. Thank you for watching this episode of Strange Attitude Garage. Thank you, Jack, for filming, and thank you, Jack, for helping me install this thing, for digging the holes, for helping me cut, the concrete and the drilling and drilling everything and all that other stuff. You were awesome help for this whole process, and hope you learned a lot.